Honorable members, let's just wait for a minute before we start, just everybody to be ready. Thank you. Good morning to all honorable members. I think we have to start now.
Recording in progress.
Honorable members,
Recording stopped.
guests, and the official or supporting staff.
Recording in progress.
2024. Welcome to our last leg of our term of Parliament, the 6th Parliament, which will be closing soon. Firstly, we would like to apologize for the change of the agenda and the late presentation. At the beginning of this year, 2 bills were referred to our portfolio committee. The National State Enterprise Bill was later withdrawn by the National Assembly table. We intended to deal with that bill today, according to our program initially. Until late Friday, we were advised that SAA repeal bill is not on our priority bill also. And furthermore, as a committee, we have outstanding matters to investigate regarding the SAA transaction. Therefore, in terms of the National State Enterprise Bill, including the one that deals with the SAA, another one has been taken by the National Assembly table because it happened not necessarily to belong to our committee according to their understanding. They have informed me that if there are any changes, they will call us back. In relation to this one of the SAA, because of the time, we could not be able, according to the officials, we won't be able to finish it. Let's target those that will be able to quickly finish within this term of office, of which that one falls out. The last time we met was on the 13th of December last year on the same matter of SAA. We took decisions on the way forward regarding SAA, which we will deal with during the consideration of our program. I have asked the Secretary to also share correspondence between the chairperson and the minister on the SAA matter, which we have a responsibility to finalize as were given by the office of the Speaker to investigate allegations. Today, we ask the department to brief us on issues emanating from the SONA and brief also us, including updating us on the latest developments with the state-owned entities. I think the program in front of us, which will be presented by the Department of Public Enterprises, will be based on that. I've already seen the presentation. Honorable members, we don't have, unfortunately, a luxury of time today due to the fact that we are meeting here while we have to also attend. We are meeting at a visual level while we are expecting to be physically attend the SONA debate. Therefore, I will be suppressing a lot of people. I will try to push us to finish so that the honorable members are able to be in Parliament at the correct time. We are not starting at 3 o'clock as it normally happened on Wednesday. Today we'll be starting at 2. Therefore, we don't have a luxury of time. By the way, even the issues that we'll be getting are not necessarily such substantial as compared to other presentations we normally have. Therefore, members will be bear with me when I am rushing. It's not that I will be suppressing democracy, but I will try to manage time so that members are able to reach Parliament in good time. Thank you, honorable members. We have apologies that the secretary should take us through.
Good morning, Chair, honorable members and guests. The apologies I've received, Chairperson, is from Honorable Gondwe, Honorable Graham Mare, and Honorable Malinga. I've also received an apology from the Office of the Minister that the Minister will be in Cabinet and the Deputy Minister is traveling abroad. Thank you, Chair. And the leadership of department is led by the Director General, Acting Director General. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Secretary. That is the situation of the members. A lot of members are not here and we receive those apologies. Welcome, Acting DG. Without wasting your time, we will have to give you and your team an opportunity to make your presentation. Thank you.
Chairperson?
Yes.
Just before you call, the Minister has joined the meeting. The Minister is present in the meeting, Chair.
Oh, welcome, Minister. I thought you said this. Yes, apologize. Welcome, Minister. Thank you for your presence, despite your schedule. That is also, we're pulling you from both sides, the cabinet and this portfolio committee. I know you'll be juggling between the two. Thank you for attending. Acting DG or Minister, you want to start?
Chair, I apologize. It's Farad Esak. Good morning. I've had my hand up. I thought before you commence, you would just recognize me, sir.
Okay. Okay.
May I go ahead, Chair?
Go
Chair,
ahead.
yeah, I don't mean to take up a lot of time, but just with your opening remarks, I wanted to understand exactly regarding the SAA issue. You tried to explain that obviously the bill is been tabled with the Speaker, and that obviously there has been extra or another piece of correspondence which I saw that came through this morning. I just wanted to get clarity from you and to understand where are we at in terms of the SAA issue, in that are we waiting on certain information before we can table it, or is the meeting going to be scheduled to discuss the SAA scenario? I just wanted in simple terms to understand where are we exactly with this thing, sir. Thank you for the opportunity.
Okay. Honorable Isaac, the SAA issue is still on the table and is going to be featured in our program. In fact, it's there in our program. There will be always continuation of the issues that are still hanging there that are expected for us to conclude. Can I also ask you to remove your what do you call it, your letterhead this is Parliament. What we cannot do in the National Assembly.
Okay, Chair. Okay, no worries.
Here in the Portfolio Committee. I am an ANC person, but I can't reflect on the ANC issues on Parliament. Please, Honourable.
We'll do, Chair.
Isaac.
We'll do so.
Okay, Minister.
Good morning, Chair, and good morning to the honourable members and others that have joined. I did come out of Cabinet, Chair, just to present myself. And in about an hour or so, I'll come back if there are questions that you might want me to actually address. My apologies, but you're right. There's a Cabinet meeting going on, and there's this committee meeting as well. So thank you for your understanding. And I'll get a signal from my colleagues whether I need to be available to answer these specific questions. Thank you. And I'll keep in touch with my colleagues. Thank you, Chair, for your understanding.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. Ms. Modisan, DG, Acting DG. DG, you have been very quiet for a long time.
Good morning, Chair, and good morning, everyone who's on the platform and the colleagues from our SOCs. Apologies. I just had challenges with my connectivity. Apologies for that. I've got my IT guy who's sorting me out. Apologies for that, Chair, and everyone on the platform.
Accepted. Let's be patient, honourable members. Just give 2 minutes.
Presentation. Chair, without further ado, I'll just ask my PLO, Lebohang Tekani, through you to load the presentation, and then I can commence with the presentation, if that is fine.
That is fine.
Thank you, Chair. Just in terms of the presentations, we as a department will be presenting issues emanating from the 2024 SONA, and also give an update on the developments in our SOCs. Just in terms of the entity that we'll be looking at is around Eskom, reducing and ending load shedding. On that particular area, we do note that there has been the deterioration around the energy availability factor, and as well that we need to remind the colleagues on the platform that Eskom currently has a generation energy recovery plan, which the board has been working at. And the plan essentially looks to recover about 6,000 megawatts by March 2025. And it is important to underscore the point that as at the 31st of December 2023, an amount of 2,865 megawatts was recovered. And in terms of the financial year, they planned to have around 1,115 megawatts. The three Kusile units have returned to service by the 30th of 2023, adding around 1,160 megawatts to the grid. And in terms of the Kusile, it was synchronized to the grid on the 31st. On 2023, adding about 800 megawatts to the grid, and also the nuclear power plant returned to service in 2023. I just need to also indicate that in terms of the government restructuring plan that was adopted, in terms of unbundling Eskom into 3 independent subsidiaries, there has been progress in that regard, especially around the National Transmission Company of South Africa, which we in the main we refer to as NTCSA, which was incorporated as a wholly owned subsidiary. In terms of progress that has been done in this regard, the NTSA licenses have been approved for operating, trading, as well as importing the electricity, and importing and exporting of electricity. The board of the NTSA has been appointed, and it has been inducted as minister undertook this task. And we anticipate that the NTSA will be operationalized by the 30th of March. In terms of to enable a competitive market and the establishment of the transmission system operator, we've got the amendment bill, which is the ERA, the Electricity Regulation Act, that is undergoing parliamentary processes to give effect to this particular unbundling process. The other entity that we have indicated around the unbundling, which is the distribution side, we call it NETSA, the National Electricity Distribution Company of South Africa. The Minister of Public Enterprises as well has given approval in terms of the PFMA for the transfer of the distribution business to the National Electricity Distribution of South Africa. And Eskom is working very hard to ensure that the license application to NERSA, it just gets to be issued and approved. So currently we are working with Eskom to ensure that we complete the new holding company, which is we refer to as NUCO, whereby we're undertaking the due diligence, and the report has been submitted to the department for further interrogation, and an independent legal opinion has been sought to the establishment and making sure that the National Electricity Distribution Company of South Africa does see the light of day. So in terms of the unbundling process, there has been a lot of work that has been done to ensure that the restructuring of Eskom actually happens within the agreed timeframes that we have communicated. The other major priority, it is around the JET, which we refer to as the Just Energy Transition that Eskom is implementing. It has already developed a strategy which the department is currently interrogating. In the main, the Just Energy Transition is looking at making sure that when we transition to the just energy path, we do so in a manner that is just and equitable, whereby there will be creation of jobs and ensure that there is industrialization that is taking place and that there's sufficient and clean energy, and also that it can transition to green finance. So this is one of the key areas that the department is actually looking at in terms of implementing and ensuring that the just energy transition happens in a way that is just and equitable, and it does not leave anybody behind. So this is the work that Eskom colleagues are seized with. Just in terms of the current status, in terms of the phase one, it is actually categorized in terms of different phases, whereby the first phase is around the repowering and the repurposing initiatives that includes the first power plant, which is Komati, then it will be followed by Hendrina, Camden, and Grootvlei power stations. That is the strategy and the path within which you want to execute the strategy of ensuring that we get the just energy transition, to ensure that we repower and repurpose Komati, that will be used as a flagship for energy transition, and we want to replicate it across all power stations that are earmarked to be shut down in the future. Because what we know is that in terms of the lifespan of a plant, it's only for a finite period of time, and therefore once it actually reaches its end of life, then it does not generate the necessary megawatts that are required. So in terms of the power plants that we are looking at the Komati, which is going to be the blueprint or the flagship project that we're going to use to emulate when we roll out the JET strategy. Around the Komati deliverables, the training facility has been developed to facilitate the reskilling and training and upskilling of the current employees and the members of the community, because this is very important, because as we transition towards the just energy transition, we must make sure that we don't displace communities and we don't leave them stranded, but it becomes just, and that we actually upskill and give priority to those members around those power stations. The other area that they are looking at, it's around the containerized microgrid assembly line. That one, it's what is actually happened there at the Komati plant, and this also involves the electricity generation from solar, photovoltaic, and agricultural activities. And this project is aimed to create new jobs for the communities, because as we transition, it is important to underscore the fact that it needs to be just and inclusive when we implement this. In terms of the repowering initiatives, we're looking at 150 megawatts of solar, 70 megawatts of wind, 150 megawatts of battery storage, and the possibility of 500 megawatts of gas at Komati. And this project should be able to support the clean energy production and also create jobs in that vicinity. I've already spoken to the different power stations that we have earmarked, that Eskom has earmarked around job creation. In terms of the long-term jobs that we want to create when we repurpose these power stations, we've actually categorized them from long-term to temporary. Around Hendrina, it ranges from 150 to 200, and then the temporary around 150 to 400. Komati, 200 to 400 long-term jobs, and the temporary ones 400 to 600. And Camden, 200 to 400, and the temporary potential jobs envisaged around 600 to 1,200, and the grootvlei, it's in the region of between 200 and 400. And in terms of temporary jobs that we are trying to work on is about 500, 200, 900 jobs there. So I'm not going to go into the details around the training and the planned activities around the Komati Power plant as we transition, but the whole idea there is to ensure that people are adequately trained, we develop entrepreneurial skills, and we ensure that people are reskilled and upskilled so that we don't displace them and they don't find themselves being stranded. When we go to the Transmission Development Plan, which is the TDP, the transmission development plan, we need to ensure that we get about 14,000 kilometers of the transmission lines between 2023 and 2032. And we have indicated there in terms of the graphics, in terms of the line, the total kilometers per province, in terms of how they intend to roll out the transmission line so that they can connect the necessary projects that Eskom is actually looking at. We also categorized it with the different provinces in terms of the different, and also the amount that is going to be spent by the different provinces. And this is going to be quite a significant amount of money, whereby between 24 and the financial year 24 and 28, we're looking about 74 odd billion, and to this whole sum of it, when you look at the whole, the provinces, we just break it down, but we just aggregated it to be just a holistic number. But you can see that there is definitely going to be a transmission capital expenditure per province in terms of where and how it's going to be rolled out to ensure that we actually get the transmission line to be collected. Just in terms of the Eskom debt relief update, as the colleagues on the platform are familiar with that the Minister of Finance has already announced the Eskom debt relief package that was appropriated. And he announced that 254 billion to Eskom debt relief, and the components thereof, it is broken down as follows, whereby 180 billion of the debt settlement, it will be dispersed over 3 tranches over the medium term. And for the first year, it's 78, 23, 24, 66, 24, 25, and 40 billion. And then there'll be a 70 billion direct debt takeover of debt for 25, 26. I need to properly update the August House that as of January 2024, an amount of 44 billion was dispersed to Eskom, with an outstanding amount of 34 billion that will be dispersed in the current financial year. And that will this is also against monitoring the strict conditions that the Minister of Finance attached to the Eskom debt relief package, that we as the department continuously monitor and ensure that Eskom adheres to those debt conditions, so that at the end the debt can be converted to equity, which is where we want this entity to land. The loan amount of 16 billion has already been converted, of 16 billion out of the 44 has been converted to equity due to the compliance of the debt relief package conditions that the department continuously monitors to ensure that at the end of the day, the debt, it gets converted to equity, so that it does not strangle or withhold Eskom from actually become a financially sustainable entity going forward. Just around Transnet, there has been a lot of work that the new board and the management have actually embarked on, in terms of also making sure that the reforms are also taking place. There has been the National Rail Policy and the roadmap for the freight logistics South Africa that was approved by that is being implemented in terms of separating Transnet Freight Rail from a rail infrastructure manager to that of an operator. And the steps are being undertaken for the development of the network statement, which will usher third-party access for private rail operators for the main network, and the stakeholder engagements through the establishment of dedicated teams to turn around the 5 strategic corridors for the transportation of goods for export purposes has already been done. Around the ports, also there has been effort that has been made to improve the performance of the ports to restore them to become world-class, by making sure that we accelerate capital investment and we maintain and retain and return the maritime fleet to operation and port expansion. And the Transnet team has also been working to increase the asset maintenance, the replacement, and the acquisition of additional equipment. I just need to indicate that on the 12th of February, Transnet received a hydraulic tension mooring system to mitigate inclement weather and minimize downtime. And there has been strides that have been made around the ports, with the board of TNPA being appointed by minister and also being inducted to ensure that we begin to reform and corporatize the entity as communicated earlier. And the Transnet has also appointed an international terminal operator to help to expand and improve its largest terminal at the Port of Durban, and a preferred bidder has been selected to build and operate the Richards Bay LNG terminal at the Port of Richards Bay South Dune Precinct. So over the past 5 years, there has been, in terms of just looking at the operational performance, there has been a deterioration around the operational challenges around the rail. Also around the port divisions have been negatively impacted by the underinvestment in infrastructure and operating equipment, and this was further exacerbated by the theft and vandalism, which require expenditure and replacement in maintenance and in the expansion. So the reforms have been implemented to address the logistics challenges that we've seen, that are aimed really at supporting the recovery of the logistics industry through the development of the roadmap that has been approved and implemented by Cabinet, as well as the board approved Transnet Recovery Plan, which we're making sure that is actually aligned to the freight logistics roadmap, because the freight logistic roadmap is the main anchor of which the Transnet Recovery Plan must find expression, to ensuring that we deal with the freight logistics challenges holistically. The department, together with the NLCC, which is the National Logistics Crisis Committee, has submitted the plan, like I've indicated, and it has already been approved, and we are currently implementing. And the institutional arrangement have been implemented to separate the rail infrastructure and the operations business to enable private sector participation, which is one of the key levers that are embedded in both the freight logistics roadmap and the Transnet Recovery Plan. And an interim infrastructure manager was appointed in March, and DPE and Transnet are liaising with DOT and the interim rail economic regulator to ensure that these plans are aligned, to ensure that the reforms that we are wanting to achieve are indeed achieved. I need to indicate that the board of Transnet and the management, they have really put shoulders to the wheel to make sure that they've put a very comprehensive recovery plan and make sure that it's also funded. And this was also evidenced by the support that was given, whereby a 47 billion guarantee was issued in December 2023 to support the Transnet recovery plan, which really in the main is looking at stabilizing the operations, increase capital expenditure on equipment and infrastructure, and also in an effort to regain the lost volumes and combat theft and vandalism, which has been a big challenge that has been plaguing the operational performance of Transnet. Just taking the guest house around SAA. In terms of SAA, a consolidated review of the strategic and operational governance of the airline, it has been done, reflecting on the challenges that led to the business rescue process that we all know about, which then culminated to what we were tasked with to make sure that the airline is viable and it's also back in the air, and also ensuring that we bring a strategic equity partner into SAA to help support it in terms of providing the necessary operational expertise and also the funding that is required. And just around the operational performance, the operation of the airline has been affected by the governance instability, and that in the past, and the financial challenges, as well as the operational inefficiencies, which then triggered the BR process. And we are currently operationally, the aging fleet, as well as the unprofitable routes, has resulted in very high elevated costs that reduce the competitiveness of the airline, necessitating the comprehensive strategic intervention. To date, we know that SAA is out of the business rescue process, having undertaken a very rigorous operational reforms, streamlining processes, and make sure that the airline is actually fit for purpose, and it can be competitive, and it can reduce its costs. And we have seen great strides being made by SAA in terms of expanding its route network, as you've seen with the new paths that they're embarking on, which is the Sao Paulo and now Perth, that the entity is actually undertaking. And as well, this morning, I was also pleased to hear that the Bafana team was flying with the SAA airline, which I think it's actually very positive. So the reforms and the difficult decisions that we made in the past are beginning to bear some fruits. They have really improved on the service delivery and the operational efficiency, thus positioning SAA as a robust competitor in the aviation sector. But what is more critical is to make sure that it regains the market share that it lost as a result of it not being able to fly when it was dealing with all those challenges. Just going into Denel, looking at the operational issues there, I need to indicate that the Denel operational performance has not fully returned to the levels that we've seen around 2018 as the capabilities deteriorated and in many other businesses. And this has really had a negative impact and resulted in liquidity constraints affecting the working capital, with some critical suppliers really offering onerous terms. And the department, together with National Treasury, has worked very hard to ensure that Denel develops a credible turnaround plan, which then resulted in National Treasury exceeding to the 3.4 billion recapitalization. There has been delays in the placement of orders with the local clients. The discussion between Denel and the clients are underway to finalize the contracting. Building the old machines and equipment are prone to breakages, but we believe that as we begin to now implement this turnaround plan, we'll be able to deal with such issues as well as the other issues, because now it had these liquidity challenges, it lost a lot of skills, and this SOC has also managed to slow down the turnover of critical staff. And I think the 3.4 billion recapitalization gave the market confidence to show that government is indeed behind the strategic entity. And we just have to make sure that now the entity focuses on revenue generating activities so that it can be profitable going forward. We have seen some notable improvement or green shoots in terms of improving delivery of critical contractual milestones. This will not only improve the financial position of the entity, but also it will improve its reputation as a reliable supplier after many years of non-performance, as well as growing its order book and pipeline to attract new business. And in the short to medium term, we want the order book to be over 16 billion with reasonable prospects of success by ensuring that the skills that they've lost to many international companies, they can then come back to Denel and be able to execute on the order book pipeline to make sure that the path that we actually put for Denel is much more stable and it begins to regain its rightful position. Around the stabilization of the management team, we have also the board recently appointed the new group CEO who will be assuming office on the 14th of February. I think this from the stabilization of management is going to be it's critical, and it also gives confidence that now we are beginning to deal with the governance issues and support this entity so that which we plan to put on a path of growth, it's been led by a group of competent and permanent management. And in terms of this, with the CEO assuming, he will now reconfigure the executive management to be able to execute on the Denel strategy going forward. Around Safcol has been one of the well-performing entities. However, I just need to indicate that the operating environment has been negatively affected, and this has also been exacerbated by the impact of load shedding. But in terms of the entities within the DP portfolio, is one of the most well-performing entities. Safcol's major logs and lumber clients were unable to honor their contractual obligations, affecting its operational performance. And the company has also implemented a turnaround plan which aims to reposition the entity to become a provider of logs and timber, boosting the process capacity, finding new products, and ensuring that revenue streams are being explored. This was done to support the industrialization of forestry while simultaneously increasing revenue and making sure that it retains and maintains its financial sustainability going forward. Subsequently, Safcol was able to stabilize its operations by maintaining its international forestry certification, increasing the log client base, and resuscitating the Inflama operation. And I just need to indicate that in the main, we've seen an 83% operational performance improvement in this particular entity. I need to indicate that in terms of the finances around Safcol, it's still a very solvent entity, is able to source funds from the financial markets without any government support, and just probably need to refresh the members on the platform that this is what one of the entity that in the past was able even to declare a dividend. The entity's financial performance improved, and it recorded a profit of 230 million in the financial year ended March 2023, and the revenue has also increased to 1.2 billion, driven by sales in timber logs. Both the liquidity faces risk due to low profit margins, and it has, in terms from an audit perspective, it has received an unqualified audit opinion since 2019 financial year to date, demonstrating improved internal control ecosystem. So it is important to highlight, as I've indicated, that this is the one entity that we wanted to be the flagship that we want to use to make sure that all the entities within the DPE stable, they can be financially viable and sustainable, and can also declare a dividend in line with what the department has also developed around the dividend policy, that we now want the entities to improve their operations, to ensure that they become revenue, they generate sufficient revenues, they generate enough profit, and be able to declare a dividend. As I've indicated, Subco did declare a 1 million dividend to the state in that period. Just in terms of the operations in Elexco, I just need to remind the colleagues that the 51% in Elexco, it's been held by government, and the community holds the 49% shareholder, and is under that PSJV in terms of the venture that is looking at the diamonds in the Northern Cape, and the production improvement interventions that have been implemented over the last 2 years by the board that was put in place and the interim management, that begin to yield positive results, with the diamond production expected to reach over 30,000 carats by March 2024. So we do see that it's important to have a stable governance and management to ensure that these entities perform optimally and they become profitable. So the PSJ remains the largest employer in the Richtersveld region. And just on the finances, despite the financial sustainability challenges experienced over the last few years, Elexco was able to remain afloat and did not receive any bailouts from government. Elexco profitability also improved, and the department is working with the Northern Cape provincial government, the Richtersveld community, and other stakeholders to revitalize the port of Nolloth and Alexander Bay Township for tourism opportunities. And it is anticipated that the Boegoebaai Deep Port projects will begin to open up economic opportunities for the province, to ensure that there's economic growth and development in the province. Just in terms of the SONA commitments, addressing load shedding, the SONA commitments, the KPIs, the priority there is to improve the availability of existing supply of electricity there. Just in terms of progress, the target there is to improve the reliability of supply from the 6 power stations that intervention is actually required. And the progress to date, we've seen the slight improvement of 0.75 of the energy availability factor between March 2023 and December 2023. And it is also envisaged that there will be a return of the 3 Kusile units, and the EAF will steadily increase and and be able to manage or reduce the high stages of load shedding. And during the December months, the units were taken off load for planned outage, and we are monitoring this very closely, and that with the Eskom board and management to ensure that the recovery plan results in the output that has been envisaged, whereby we want the plan to get more megawatts on board. We're also looking to fast track the construction of the temporary solution to bring back the 3 units at Kusile, and all 3 stacks were completed, and this have resulted in the service. It has resulted in about 2,160 megawatts being added to the grid. So yes, there are challenges, but the team at Eskom and the board and the management, they're really working hard within the challenges that they have to try and manage the issue of the reliability of electricity supply, as well as the progress to improve the availability of supply in terms of the contribution to climate change commitments, the tax incentives for homeowners and businesses to install rooftop solar system is in place, and the feed-in tariff to further encourage customers to undertake this is also in place, and the standard offer program where customers will sell excess energy to Eskom under short-term power purchase agreement. There's also a draft framework that has been developed on net billing and the wheeling to guide the industry with a standardized approach. So the 2 draft framework documents are with NERSA for approval. And in terms of the deployment of necessary skills at the underperforming power stations, managers now have direct access to the group executive to accelerate decision-making in operations, to make sure that we deal with improving the availability of existing electricity supply, and the critical vacancies at power stations have been filled, and cluster managers have been redeployed to the primary energy units, mainly around Letaba and Tutuka power stations, and new appointments have also been made via the crowdsourcing initiatives to accelerate the improvements at power stations, and the technical plant managers have also been appointed at Medupi, Kriel, and Majuba power stations. And there has also been around the procurement of emergency power that can be deployed to close the immediate gap. The emergency generation program has been launched, and also the load shedding reduction program was approved by the Eskom board for implementation. And the purchase of excess power from private generators and from neighbors, the standard offer has been launched. Additional budget for the standard offer was also approved by the Eskom board, and the cross-border purchases are currently underway with approximately 100 megawatts to be achieved this financial year from the South African power pool, and a further 1,000 megawatts have been identified via bilateral agreements. So Eskom has launched the cross-border standard offer in October last year, enabling the procurement of power from neighboring countries. So thus far, I think it is important to underscore that Eskom has received applications for potential 942 megawatts that are currently being assessed to determine their sustainability. And in terms of the SONA commitments to accelerate the procurement of new capacity from renewables, gas, and battery storage, the preferred bidder has been announced. Legal and financial close is targeted for June, and the RFPs for bid window 7 it's going to be released to the market on 14. It was released to the market on 14 December 2023, and the operationalization of the NTSA, as I indicated, the licenses NERSA has granted approval and licenses have been issued for operating and trading of the importing, exporting of electricity there, and the ministers also signed the shoulder resolution approving the amendment of the Eskom MOI to allow the legal separation and the enablement of Eskom to conduct business through its subsidiaries. And the board is there of the NTCSA, and Eskom needs to now operationalize the company by the 1st of 2024. Around Transnet, on the sonar commitments, around the development of the roadmap, including the restructuring of the role of the freight rail to create a separate IM for the rail network. The Transnet roadmap developed by DPE was also incorporated in the NLCC roadmap for the freight logistics systems in South Africa. And the NLCC roadmap was approved and is currently being implemented by Transnet. And around the DCT and NCT partnership transaction, the Ngqura container terminal transaction resulted in a non-award. Transnet board is also considering a new way forward in this regard. And the Durban container terminal, they've also identified the partner there. And in terms of the international container terminal services, Incorporated was identified as the preferred bidder, and the project is undergoing the due diligence and the contracting. And Transnet has also initiated discussions with the OEMs in terms of to look at the alternatives in terms of dealing with the issues of spares around the locos with the CRRC matter that we all know about, and the department has been actively engaging in to try and find a win-win solution to make sure that an amicable solution is reached. But alternatively, we need to look at other ways of making sure that the necessary spares and the locos are there. So so this is work in progress. And also to deal with the challenge with the CRRC, Transnet has also invited the OEMs to step in with parts and repairs of the locomotives, and they're currently evaluating the tender to make sure that the big, because around TFR is the main revenue generator, so it is important that for them to achieve and rail the necessary volumes, they need to really get the parts and the locomotives to move. So so that is a priority by the Eskom board and management in that regard. So I do have the colleagues from Eskom chair through you and the acting GCE of Eskom and the acting GCE of Transnet. If the House allows, they can probably add on the two major entities, which I think are of national importance, that they probably want to add on to augment if the chair so desires and approves. That would be very much appreciated. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, DG. Honorable members, that is the presentation from the department. I will just go through as we normally do and pick up names of people who will be engaging the report without wasting time. Let me start with Honorable Dlamini. Honorable Dlamini.
Morning, Chair, and morning, colleagues. I don't think I want to comment at this point, Chair. I'll pass. Thanks.
Okay. Honorable Isaac.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, as I say, we received this presentation this morning, and it is a very detailed presentation that I think. Can you hear me, Chair?
Isaac,
Yes, sir.
can you rather show your face instead of putting in this wrong?
Okay.
Yes.
Can you hear me now? Am I audible, Chair?
I can hear you better.
Okay, good. Chair, yeah, no, I was saying that, we received this presentation this morning, and I think with due respect, you would understand it is a pretty lengthy and detailed document that would need somewhat of interrogation to a great extent. So, to just go and make rational comments at this point in time, I think at best is that we need to interrogate these issues and obviously come back to these issues as these various departments present to us over the following few weeks, hopefully. That's all I want to add for now. Thank you. Chair, are you there?
Okay, yeah, I'm
Well, was I audible, Chair?
we heard you. You were audible.
Okay. Thank you.
Sorry, man. Yeah. EFF, Honorable, who is here from the EFF? No person from EFF, honorable members? I thought there was somebody from EFF here. Okay. Seemingly no one from the EFF. Honorable Kumede.
Chair, good morning. Thanks for the brief, and thanks as well for the items that are taking us a little bit further. I thought perhaps we're going to be given an idea that since there was something that was mooted, that some of the entities may go to their respective home. As this, perhaps the presentation presented to us, where do we stand? Has that idea been abandoned, or possibly that idea is still there? It's only that we are not operating as the forthcoming idea. We are currently operating as the normal enterprise, public enterprise. But the other one, Chair, that has worried me a lot is I'm not sure whether the acting DG will be in a position to help us. I'm a little bit worried about the incident that took place after the president's address, that immediately after his address, and then we experienced that kind of load shedding. Has anything been commissioned to try and investigate what in fact could have happened to begin to embarrass the president just when he has given a positive note on the item of load shedding? The second one, the third one, Chair, is when we were doing the program last time, I hear that now it goes to March 2025. In terms of the plan that we in fact set ourselves for, well, I can't remember whether we said it's February or March 24. Where do we stand in terms of that? What in fact could have crippled the plan, which in fact may be the same elements that may even cripple, if not worsening, the situation in 2025, because I can see that now we have a program for 2025. So, Chair, let me wait there for now, and let's see what's unfolding. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Kumede. Honorable Nkosi Buthelezi. Honorable Buthelezi. I think we've got a problem here. A number of people who appear on this list of members present, they've got an element of disappearing when I'm about to mention their name. Therefore, I will mention even if a person is not here now. Let me go to Honorable Piri.
Thanks, Chair. Good morning to yourself. Good morning to colleagues and the delegation led by Honorable Minister. Chair, I want to say compliment for the new year and also happy Valentine's to all who are in the platform. Chair, I want to also join colleagues in accepting the presentation made by the acting DG. Yes, the presentation is well detailed, but unfortunately, I'll have to echo my colleague that, to be honest, we are not prepared to engage the presentation as we have received it early this morning. But Chair, we will allow us in the next meeting where we'll be dealing with detailed issues like your ESCOM separate, your Transnet separately, and all other entities under public enterprise will engage considering what is being presented to us. And we really want to appreciate the effort that are made by the department and even to be forming part of the presentation that was made by the President in SONA in opening of Parliament. Not forgetting that all of us, we are disappointed and wishing if we could have got Minister of Electricity in this meeting so that you could share the good story or proper plans, even though the DG has explained and Minister PG knows, but I feel strongly that in all our meetings, if we're gonna touch base with anything that deals with electricity, we need the minister to be present. In other words, I'm pleading to yourself, extend the invite to him if you have not yet invited him. But Chair, allow me to pause here and not waste much of your time, but appreciate the presentation. Thanks, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Piri. Is Honorable Mhlongo back? Apparently no. Okay. Honorable Malinga.
Thank you
Honorable
very
Mal-
much, and greetings to yourself, members of the Portfolio Committee, the committee staff. Chairperson, I want to second what was just being said by Honorable Phiri, and say that I have no further comments on what has just been tabled now. Thank you very much.
Okay. Let's go to Honorable Kwanazi.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. Good morning to yourself, colleagues, honorable members, honorable the Minister has led the department, acting DG and administration and the platform. Honorable Chairperson, I'll be waiting for the report. We will be able to engage fully and in details share when we are dealing with individual SOE. I also want to support the honorable members about the minister in the presidency on electricity to be part of us as he is also reporting to the portfolio committee. But Chair, I want to support the presentation and the contribution by Honorable Kumete. That will be all, Chairperson, from my side. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Kwanazi. Is there any honorable members that I'm leaving behind? Okay. No.
Miss Masiweya.
Suweya, I didn't see her, yeah. Suweya, Miss Honorable Suweya. I see Suwela, and it's not Suweya. I don't think Suweya is here. Okay. Well, there is a slide that about the repurposing and the repowering station. I just want to check that slide. To me, lack information on how many workers are employed at those power stations currently or before repurposing. What are the effects of repurposing to those? Because my understanding is that there are engineers who are trained to perform engineering work on a power station that was performing totally different. Now that is repurposed for another kind of, is that also taking into consideration those or retrain those engineering that are there to do the other thing? Or is there any effect in terms of people losing or gaining more jobs? That's the one. Secondly, generally, my first question is, how many workers were employed at these four stations that you have outlined there before the repurposing and thereafter? Two, has the organized labor in those power stations been on board or thoroughly consulted in the reform being implemented at that in those power stations? Because previously, when we visited ESCOM, when we interacted with the three organized labor in those at ESCOM, there was a serious outcry from their side that they see people coming and going of higher positions, and they never been taken into, taken on board as to what it is that is being done, what is expected for them, and so on. Including in others, they will be told to just switch down the power there without being told what is the purpose, what is the problem exactly. I just want to get this because that was our serious problem when we were there. Thirdly, what effort has the Department of Public Enterprise made to ensure government department and entities support each other by securing an advanced technology solution, for example, from DINEL? I know for a fact that as members of parliament, our role is purely advise in our oversight work. We cannot force the department, the entity, to do A instead of B. But ever since we started, we have been consistently raising the issue of of public to public relationship in terms of these entities. To what extent are these entities operate from a position of being interacted and raise their problems with other entities who suppose to be their clients? For example, DINER and the Department of Defense, for example, and police, in terms of what they are doing. Is there any kind of an engagement that is taking place to encourage that some of these departments to get procurement or to get access to be clients of these particular institutions in order to avoid the collapse of these state-owned entities? Because to me, if entities are not working together, because they're supposed to be their first clients in the process of improving their financial muscle, beyond getting other kind of businesses outside the country or anywhere else. But if here at home we are not having that kind of a relationship that is built towards public partnership, we won't be going anywhere. Is there any attempts to deal with that outcry from this particular portfolio committee to the department, including these entities? Thank you. The last issue is around Transnet. We understand that a certain manager or senior manager who was in charge in the Port of Cape Town has been removed. And our understanding is that Port of Cape Town has been fairly performing better than most of all the other ports. But we were informed recently that the airport manager has been removed with the reason that are not even clear to her and including the union as to why, and replaced by a person of another color. He is an African person, replaced by a person of another color. I just want to check as to why priority on the Cape Town, why do we have crises in KZN and in other ports that has been known to have those problems, serious problems than Cape Town? Thank you. If you can, by the way, because you are not an official, I understand, of Transnet, but it's something that we thought that it needs to be raised. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair and Honorable Members, for the questions. Let me first probably start by conveying the apology for the delayed submission of the presentation, because we thought we were going to be presenting on the bill, but subsequently been informed that it was going to be on the SONA. On the questions raised by the Honorable Member Gumede regarding whether are we going a different path because the entities will go to their respective homes. That one, Honorable Member, it is the decision that resides with. I don't think I can be able to provide an answer to that. Only the President will be able to pronounce on it, as this is going to be part of what we call the macro organization of the state and government, which is led by the presidency and government. So in that regard, unfortunately, I'm not in a position to provide concretely a response. And then on the issues of what happened after the president's address, on the details and the load shedding, Honorable Chair, can I please refer that to the ESCOM colleagues to give a much more detailed response in terms of what happened, what was the cause thereof, and as well defer the question as well around the workers, the employment, the reskilling, and whether organized labor has been brought on board. I'll also refer that to Caleb and team to be able to respond to that, as well as in terms of the repowering and repurposing of Komati, that will require, as we indicated, but Caleb and team can add that it will require the upskilling and reskilling of the employees, because we're dealing with a totally different kind of expertise in this particular area. But the whole idea is that people should not be left behind. People should be included in that regard. On the issues of Denel and all the other entities, I just need to respond to that one, Honorable Chair, to indicate that as a department, we are also wanting the SOCs to collaborate within the DPE portfolio to make sure that public partnership does happen before we even go outside. And I think Caleb can also indicate of some of the engagements that ESCOM and Denel have tried to do in terms of ensuring that there's collaboration, and as well as talk about some of the collaborations that have also have been pursued even outside of the DP portfolio. And on the port, in terms of the question that you asked of the particular person being removed, we've got the acting GCE of Transnet. Can I request Michelle to respond to that question that you've raised? But in the main, we do note the issues by the committee to say they'd like to engage later on an SOC basis. Chair, without too much waste of time, can I just ask Caleb to respond to the question, followed by Michelle, ESCOM and Transnet. Thank you, Chair. Caleb?
Thank you, Juju.
Thank you. Good morning, Chair, and to the honourable members. I'm supported by Becky Nomala on the generation side. Chair, if I start on the first question around load shedding and the events over the last weekend, I think first and foremost, we have prepared a report that we sent to the Minister of Electricity and Minister of Public Enterprises. But in summary, Chair, over a short period of about 2 days, Eskom had lost 10 units, a lot of them linked to technical issues, substantially around boiler tube leaks and a few others. That coupled with the combination also at that period, we'd seen cloudy conditions, which means there was a drop from solar electricity supplied into the grid, which Eskom had to pick up. And then the last major factor was during that period in the week, we've already utilized a lot of our emergency reserves linked to the water, and effectively we had to make the call, Honorable Chair and members, to take a tough decision of stage 6 over the weekend to allow us to restore the pump levels at our pump storage stations, and also some of the volumes at the Unkelek power station, because at Unkelek the OCGT diesel is trucked in rather than the pipeline at Garikwa. That then allowed us an opportunity, Chair, as the members would know, to drop the stage to stage 5 on Sunday. And as we sit here today, it's down to stage 3 in the day. And we will look to try to maintain that to this evening's peak. So had we not made that decision, Chair, we would be entering the week, the working week with no reserves, and that would have put us in a precarious position. Chair, we also, from an Eskom perspective, fully support the members, many of the members' proposal that when we're discussing electricity, that the Minister of Electricity should be in the meeting. So that is supported. Chair, just on commodity and the workers, from an Eskom perspective, we had about 400 workers at commodity that were reallocated within our generation portfolio. So no jobs were lost from an Eskom perspective. We do acknowledge, Chair, that from the contractors and the community, there has been an impact. That is a major learning, as you've indicated, Chair, in terms of the reskilling of not only Eskom staff, but more contractors and communities that rely on the power station to be reskilled in advance. And one of the biggest learning from the reports from the PCC, as well as Eskom, recognizing that you need to repurpose a station before you look to switch it off. I think that is critical. Chair, I think on the last one, in terms of collaboration, as the acting DG has said, we've been working with Denel to assist us in enhancing our security across our sites, in particular the power stations, but also looking at how we can utilize their expertise to protect our transmission and distribution networks. I think secondly, over and above the Denel collaboration, we must appreciate the work that the department has done to get us and encourage us to collaborate much closer together. So thank the acting DG and the team and the minister on that. We've also been working with SAA, Chair, to help us with our subsidiary Rotec Industries, to help us in terms of assisting with the turbine work at our Rotec plant, and we can utilize the skills of SAA engineering. Chair, that is a summary from my side in terms of the questions that were asked by yourselves and the members. Thank you. Thank you, Chair. Thanks, DG.
Thank you, Caleb. Chair, through you, can I ask Michelle, the acting CEO of Transnet, to respond on the question that you posed on Transnet regarding the removal of a person at the port, to give more clarity and detail around that? Thank you, Chair. Michelle?
Okay.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, members of the committee, my colleagues in the DPE. Chair, I'm going to ask you to protect me on this particular matter. I think that it would not be prudent for me to be discussing individual employee matters on this very public platform. We are, as the acting DG has indicated, we are in the midst of a recovery plan. We are trying to ensure that Transnet performs better. I cannot comment on the comments that have been made. I can only say that we have internal process within this organization. We try to ensure that we meet and exceed our customers' expectations. We've been asked to ensure that our terminals across the country are productive. and that's what we are focusing on. I don't think that it is appropriate, Chair, with all due respect, to request that I engage on this platform on matters that are private to the individuals, and that I be asked to give any information on this platform at this particular point in time. You'll allow me, Chair, to rather avoid entering into, answering that particular question, because I really do not think, with all due respect, that it is an appropriate question to ask me at this point in time on this public forum when it relates to an employer-employee relationships. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. You finished, did you? Did you?
Thank you, Chair. I think on the questions that you've asked, as per my notes that I have, I think we responded to all the questions that yourselves and the honorable members have asked. So I'm finished, Chair. Thank you. I can hand over to you, Chair.
Thank you. Thank you, DG. Honorable members, is there any other matter that members, before I go towards the end of the meeting? I don't see any hand. Thank you, honorable members. But I just want, before we close, to indicate that our role as members of parliament is to do oversight. And wherever there is public money, where there is public use of public funds, as members of parliament, we've got a right to ask questions. Even whether it's between Transnet and employee, if it has been problematized and come to our attention, we have to seek clarity and an information, because also part of our responsibility is to guard against any abuse of power in these entities, is also against the oppression or any undue behavior of our public leadership, because the people who are there, they are there in the interest of public, and we will have to ask those questions, uncomfortable as they are. We apologize if those question makes people very much agitated and angry. That's not our intention. We just seek an information that we think we've got a right to have. We listen to the unions, we listen to organized labor in those, not necessarily to an individual, we listen to everybody in that particular space, and we seek to it. We had a lot of queries from the same Transnet, actually, that are dating back from 2019 when we took over. We wrote letters to the department to the Transnet via the department to ask questions about queries we are getting about people who think they have been fired wrongly. We still make those follow-up issues, so that at the end of the day, those issues are being dealt with and make that particular person understand why he is or she is not there. That's it. Even when you as a DG or when you as a CEO, you happen to be fired wrong, as members of parliament, we are not going to be quiet. We'll have to say something if we feel that your situation was not dealt with properly, because we've got legislation in this country. Thank you very much. Honorable members, I think we reached the end.
Chairperson, Chair,
I
my
see
hand
the
is up.
end. Okay, it's in relation to.
But Chair, it's Honorable Piri. You can't keep on telling Honorable Isaac to remove the DA sticker, and he continues to do likewise. Chair, it's out of order. Tomorrow it will be me and you can take it. But I want to also say thank you for the clarity that you just gave. Some of us who felt like we could just come in and tell the responder that we have that obligation. Thanks, Chair.
Okay. Honorable Isaac, I'm very disappointed with you because you never behave like that. This thing of your organization or your party sticker here, I ask you, members of parliament normally put parliament or put themselves or somebody else because the law doesn't allow us to advertise ourselves in the parliament platform. I think you're supposed to know that better. But let not deprive you the right because you misbehave that way. Can you speak? Honorable Isaac?
Chairperson, am I audible?
Yes, you are now.
Thank you. Yeah, Chair, I did change my my background. I'm sorry that it has such an impact on individuals, but then again,
No. It's still, the problem is that it's still visible. It's still highly visible.
Well, I have changed it,
You've got
Chair.
your DA logo with the name and everything on the screen of Parliament. That is nothing to do with how we feel. It's that illegally.
I apologize, Chair.
You must withdraw that statement of saying individuals.
Fine,
We are members.
I withdraw. If it has such an emotional impact on others, I withdraw.
No, man,
Chairperson. I will see to it.
Honorable Isaac, you always
Yes, sir.
putting a wrong rider, you know, on
Okay,
what
well, I
you're saying. If you
apologize, Chair.
apologize,
Fine.
just apologize.
I'm
Otherwise,
apologizing, sir.
yeah,
I'm apologizing
that's big.
profusely. Okay, that's
Take a platform.
I just
then.
wanted to raise two issues, Chair, in the interest of time, if you will allow me quickly, Chair, and with due respect to the committee. As I said in my earlier remarks, you know, we all received the report only after 9 this morning. But there were two things I just wanted to touch on with your permission. The one is on slide 18, you know, Transnet receives a huge bailout now, 6-7 weeks ago in December. And I just wanted to touch on the issue of cable theft, which has been running rampant, as we know, for all of last year and the years before. I'm confident, and I just wanted to hear, is there an assurance that the issue of cable theft is being addressed at Transnet as well as at the ports? Because, you know, this is having a huge effect on service delivery from Transnet side. So I just wanted to touch on that. One. Two, very briefly, sir, seeing that SAA was presented as part of this presentation, I just want to again ask, based on your opening remarks, the sixth parliament is coming to a close, probably in another couple, 3-4 months or whatever. So, Chair, I need to understand the issue regarding SAA. Is the intention to drag this matter and leave it for the incoming parliament? Or are we really going to get down to the nuts and bolts and address this issue within the next few weeks? That is all I needed to find check with you, Chair. And I am very grateful for the opportunity, and I apologize again for my background, Chair. Thank you.
Okay, no, thank you. Thank you, Honorable.
Those new questions.
No. Honorable Perry.
You are wrong. Those are new questions. They were sent to Isaac.
Honorable Perry, calm down. Honorable Isaac, on the last part of your question, the answer is yes, we'll complete the process before the end of this term. We know for a fact that the process dragged beyond the time that was allocated for it, but due to the problems that have been responded, I mean, there's been briefed to us, to all of us who have been part of this process. We know why we're still busy with this situation that we're supposed to have been completed mid last year. But I can assure you, this thing is going to be completed before the end of this 6th Parliament. On the first one, I will ask the acting DG to quickly respond to.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you very much for that question. Around the issue of the cable theft, I want to give the assurance to the honourable member that the issue of cable theft, it is an issue that is receiving attention not only at Transnet but also at government. To show the extent to which we are looking at the issue of cable theft and the vandalism that is plaguing our economic infrastructure, it is also been elevated to a sector cluster on security, whereby these issues are being dealt with to make sure that the issue of cable theft does not have any negative impact, or rather it's been contained by Transnet, and also looking at also other entities, not only Transnet, but also even Eskom. But if the honourable member would like more elaboration on the issues of Transnet in much more detail around the ports and TFR, I can probably ask the acting GCO of Transnet to probably provide more detailed information if so required, or alternatively they can provide a written comprehensive response to that effect. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, acting DG.
With your indulgence, Chair.
No,
Please, if we could get a written report. I know. I just wanted to respond that if we could get a written report with your permission.
Honourable member, you cannot just speak me. We are still in this meeting, which has rules of Parliament. Please be fair with us in this session. DG, I think you did capture the part raised by Honourable Isaac. Perhaps maybe when we deal detailed with the Transnet and the other entities that are affected by the cable theft and so on, we will be in a position to get a detailed information that will be written down around these issues. Honourable members, I think we get to the end of our session. Let me take this opportunity to thank the Department of Public Enterprises for their quick response to our late changing of the program. Of course, we understand that's why we are a bit patient with your situation. We understand that it's not your fault, it's Parliament's fault in this instance. We had other programs that we adopted, which were supposed to follow. Unfortunately, at 11th hour, the situation had to be changed, and you, with your capabilities, being much more flexible to provide us with this presentation. We apologize to the members that we received this presentation at a very late time when we are about to start the session. I seriously and wholeheartedly apologize on behalf of Parliament for that problem. That, of course, we put you in a very awkward, as members of Parliament, including the department, in that quick change. We hope that it's not going to happen again. But also, the issues that were presented to us are issues that will be continuing engaging until the end of the 6th Parliament. With all those words, thank you everybody, including other entities that are attending, Eskom, Transnet, and everybody, and our support staff and members. With those words, the meeting is adjourned.
Chairperson,
Yes.
can I suggest that
yes.
we allow the guests to leave and then we do the program at least?
Yes. I've forgotten that we've got a program to adopt, including some of the outstanding minutes. Honorable members, can you be left behind so that we complete that part of our agenda?
Thank you.
Chairperson, can I come in?
Okay, Honorable Issa?
No, I just wanted to find out, Chair, on a lighter note. Are you okay, Chair? Is everything good? All
Yes,
good, sir?
I'm good.
Lovely. I look forward to seeing you this afternoon, sir.
You're mischievous, man.
We are colleagues.
Yeah, I understand. We have to look after each other.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chair.
Okay. Honorable members, I think we can quickly go to the program that is presented, that draft program by the Secretary for adoption, and omit or add if there is anything. The first part is the briefing by the public enterprise on issues emanating. That is the one that we dealt with today. And then next week is briefing by the Department of Mineral Resources and Energy on the Electricity Regulation Amendment Bill and its implications on Eskom. I think we'll be having the Minister of Electricity there. And then on the following week, 28 of February, briefing by the South African Airways on outstanding annual reports and financial statement. And then on the 13th or on the 16th will be a follow-up meeting on the allegation regarding irregularities in the South African Airways transaction on the 6th. And then on the 13th, briefing by Alexco on the outstanding annual report and financial statement, presentation by the content advisor on progress update regarding implementation of the Zondo Commission. That will be
Let me continue, Chair. On the 20th of March, it will be the consideration and adoption of the report of the committee on the petition that is relating to SAA transaction. And then the last meeting would be the consideration and adoption of the legacy report for the committee. If depending on the program of Parliament, we might have this consideration meeting on the 20th, guided by the parliamentary program. And then, as the chair said, the meeting next week will include also the Minister of Electricity, and then we will refine the agenda for next week. Thanks, Chair.
okay. That is it, honorable member.
Chairperson, may I come in, sir?
Come in,
Isaac again. Sorry, I don't mean to be problematic. Can we just ask Tisang to scroll up again, please?
Tisang too?
To scroll up to
okay.
To scroll
Okay.
up. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Thank you. Chairperson, with your permission, I just want to gauge your opinion or advice. The meeting for Wednesday, the 21st, that's, I think, next Wednesday. Do you not think it perhaps be prudent, Chair, that we have a joint meeting and invite the Standing Committee on Mineral Resources and Energy to perhaps also be part of this meeting, seeing that the Minister of Electricity might also be there. I'm just making a suggestion, might be a more productive meeting.
Okay. How other members think about it? But it's not a big deal. We can just check, because it sometimes depends on their program, if they will be available on that, because you must understand that sometimes we meet on different days and they might be having, but I will ask the secretary to check with the portfolio committee of mineral resources and energy if they will be available on that particular date.
Perfect. That's awesome. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. You move for the adoption. Any seconder?
Honorable Mkwanazi's hand is up.
Okay, Honorable
Well
Mkwanazi.
done, Chair. Well done.
Seconded, Honorable Isaac. Thank you, honorable members. Honorable members, can we go to the minutes quickly? Minutes, Tisang? Tisang, you are quiet.
I forgot to switch on my. It's for the first time it happens, Chair. Usually they're not dealt with by technology easily. So that is the presentation that was done by Satao.
You have to start from the beginning.
From the beginning. Okay.
Yeah.
It was the meeting of the engagement with organized labor regarding the financial governance and service delivery challenges facing Transnet. It was on the 1st of November, 2023, and those were members of the committee were present. There was opening remarks by the chairperson, and then we invited Satau, Untu, Kosatu, and Fedusa. And then this is just a synopsis of the issues that they had raised and the discussions between the committee and the organized labor in terms of issues that they have raised. And then the way forward from the meeting. Thank you, Chair.
Honorable members, is there any mover for the adoption of the minutes?
Thanks, Chair. It's Mkwanazi. I move for the adoption of the minutes.
Thank you, Honorable Mkwanazi. Any seconder?
Honorable Chiwaya, I second.
Honorable Sueya.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Second one.
The second one, Chair, is the 8th of November 2023. It was a Transnet briefing on their annual report. And those are the members of the committee who were present in the meeting. Delegation was led by the department, by the minister, Opening remarks by the chairperson, presentation by Transnet. I think that is the day when the Ms. Phillips was introduced as the new acting CAO. And these are just the synopsis of the issues that were presented in the committee by the minister and opening remarks and the Transnet presentation. And then we've got the discussions and some of the salient issues that were raised by the committee. And then we've got the responses that were given by Transnet on that particular day. And then the resolutions of the committee on that day. Thank you, Chair.
Okay. Thank you, Secretary. Is there any mover for the adoption?
Honorable Siwaya, Chair, I move for the adoption.
Yes, Honorable Sueya, move for the adoption. Any second?
Mkwanazi, I second.
Mkwanazi is seconded. Disang, the third one.
The third one, Chair, is the 15th of November. It was the our interaction with the Minister of Electricity on the implementation of the Energy Action Plan. Those are members of the committee who were present in the meeting. And then opening remarks by the chairperson. A synopsis of the presentation of the Minister of Electricity. And then discussions, just the salient issues that were raised by the committee on the day. And 4, it's basically some of the responses that were given by the Minister of Electricity. And the conclusion. Thank you, Chair.
Okay. Honorable members, is there any mover for the adoption?
Chair, Honorable Peer, I move for the adoption. I move for the adoption as a true reflection of what transpired on that day.
Thank you, Honorable Piri. Is there any second, honorable members?
Honorable
Any second?
Suwaya, I second.
Honorable Suwaya, seconded. Is there any fourth one? Tisang? You're not talking now.
Okay. I've got it, Chair. This was the meeting of the 22nd of November. ESCOM annual report presentation. Members of the committee who were available in the meeting. The delegation of ESCOM. The introduction by the chairperson, introductory remarks by the chairperson. And a presentation, synopsis of the presentation of ESCOM. A salient issues raised by the committee in terms of the presentation of ESCOM, and the responses given by the ESCOM executives, and the conclusion of the meeting, Chair. Thank you, Chair.
Okay. Honorable members, is there any mover for the adoption of this minute? I think it's the last one. Is there anyone, honorable members?
Piri, I move for the adoption.
Honorable Piri, move for the adoption. Any seconder?
Siwaya, I move for the secondment.
Honorable Suweya, seconded. Honorable members, those are
It's
the.
one left, Chairperson, of the 13th December now.
Oh, okay.
Our last meeting of last year was the 13th of December.
Yeah.
Yes, Chair. And then this meeting basically was the discussion and consideration of evidence submitted by both the minister and the former DG. It's regarding the SAA matter. Was on 13th of December. Those are members of the committee who were present in the meeting. And members of the officials present in the meeting. The meeting was an in-house meeting. So the opening remarks of the chairperson are stipulated in number 1 there. Number 2 basically is a presentation of the committee report that was done by the content advisor, and also the input made by the legal advisor of the committee on the matter, and a summary of some of the issues that were raised within the deliberation of the committee. And these are the issues that were the committee resolved on. Yeah, I think it ends here, Chairperson. Yeah, this is the main issue. This is the main issue that you resolved on.
You done?
I'm done, Chair.
Okay. Honorable members, is there any mover?
Is Mkwanazi, I move.
Thank you, Honorable Mkwanazi. Honorable, any seconder? Honorable Piri. Honorable Piri, are you seconding?
Yes, Chair, I second.
Thank you so much. Thank you, honorable members. That is the end of our meeting.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.